These are my top 5 Premiere Pro shortcuts which I use on a daily basis. Make sure you stick around till the end because I'll be giving out a special bonus tip which is my favorite keyboard shortcut which I use all the time. So make sure you stick around till then. The first shortcut is the N. Now N is for rolling shutter. So what this means is that if you make the cut in the wrong place, like a couple of frames in or out, you can just press the N key and then roll the cut forwards or backwards wherever you want the cut to actually land, rather than moving all the clips before or previous. You can just move it with the rolling edit tool. The second is the X. Now what this will do is it will create in and out points on your timeline so you can see how big that clip is, how long it is. This is really handy to see how long clips are, and 2, to separate your timeline to be able to work on specific things within your timeline without getting distracted from other objects outside. The third shortcut is the Y key. Now this is the slip tool. So what this can do is it can push your clip forward and backwards without you having to drag it. You can just press Y and then you can slip the clip forward and backwards within the actual part you've cut it to. So if you don't like the ending, you can move it a bit forward. You don't like the start, you can move it a bit backwards without having to move that clip from your timeline. You can just slip it moving back and forward with the slip tool. I find this super handy. I recommend you getting to know this one. Fourth we have is the M. Now this is for the marker tool. Now what this does is it just writes a little mark on the timeline. Now I think this is great for 1, when you're going through rushes, and 2, if you come up with ideas while you're editing, you can just mark it and write the idea down. So 1, you don't forget it, and 2, you can come back to it later if you want to. I find this tool really handy and I use it all the time on my edits. On every project I use, I'm marking things down, I'm writing notes, I'm just reminding myself, they're little markers to myself to come back and to do this in the edit. Like I said, I especially like the marker tool when I'm going through rushes. I can just mark the clips I like and then I can grab them later on, or I can just label them saying, oh, this is a really good shot. The 5th point I have is for the gain. Now if you press the G on your keyboard, it'll bring up the gain tool. So this will allow you to control the volume on your audio clip depending on what you want to do. Instead of dragging the thing at the bottom, you can pop it up and then you can just type it in whatever one you want and then you just press enter. I find this really easy to use. It's really quick and it's really handy when you're doing A-roll sequences like this, or when you're trying to do sound design. Now it's time for my bonus tip. My bonus tip is the Q and W keys. Now what these will do is it'll ripple trim. So if you press the Q, it'll ripple trim it before, or if you press the W, it'll ripple trim after where your play line head is. I find this is a really handy tool and it makes things so much quicker. Instead of cutting it physically, you can just go bam and then it's gone. It's a really handy tool. I use it a lot when I'm editing YouTube videos, especially A-roll sequences. You can just cut the start, and if there's a gap, you can just Q and then it'll jump the rest of the timeline back to where you're going. I really recommend using this tool and getting to know it because it is super handy and it will save you a lot of time. There you have it. They are my top 5 keyboard shortcuts for Premiere Pro. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if there's any keyboard shortcuts I've missed or there's any that you really like using. Hit me up in the comments below so you can share those with others. That'd be really appreciated. These are just my favorite ones, but there are plenty more out there, so get to know them because they will save you a lot of time. Thanks for watching this video. I really appreciate you being here and I'll see you on the next video.